Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. Let's dive into English literature. My name is Vaishali Rathod and today we will solve December 2024 NET Paper 2 English Literature. Okay, so let's begin. So we have first question on our screen. Question number 51. Okay. Now, who among the following is credited with ending the system of patronage with his letter to Lord Chesterfield? Okay. So, 1. Bishop Berkeley. 2. Samuel Johnson. 3. Edmund Burke. And 4. Horace Walpole. Okay. So, the correct answer we have is Samuel Johnson. Very famous writer, critic, lexicographer. Okay. So, during early phase of his life, he was not financially very sound. Okay. So, just like आज के ज़माने में जैसे अलग अलग संस्थाएं हैं, ओके, वो बच्चों को पढ़ने के लिए फाइनेंशियल हेल्प प्रोवाइड करती है. सो उस ज़माने में, पहले के ज़माने में पैट्रन होते थे. वो लिटरेचर को, ओके, आर्ट को, कल्चर को बढ़ावा देने के लिए क्या थे, फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट देते थे. सो सैमुअल जॉनसन का भी बैकग्राउंड इतना फाइनेंशियली साउंड नहीं था. सो ही हैज़ टेकन हेल्प ऑफ लॉर्ड Chesterfield. Okay, but Chesterfield has provided him that financial help but has not paid that much attention to him. एक बार फाइनेंशियल हेल्प हो गई, फिर उनको जो सपोर्ट देना चाहिए था वो नहीं दिया. सो दिस सैमुअल जॉनसन, he felt being used. Okay, because when he became very famous for his dictionary, okay, that he has written, okay, this person Lord Chesterfield, he has revealed that he has helped Samuel Johnson. Okay, so Johnson, he does not feel that much good about it. Okay, that earlier this person was not paying attention to me and now he is revealing this thing. Okay, so he has not paid attention to Johnson, but he has praised dictionary that this Johnson has published. Okay, so what Johnson did, that he has written letter to this Lord Chesterfield. Okay, and in that letter what he did, that he has rejected this patronage system. Okay, so this letter was written by whom? By Samuel Johnson. So option number 2 is the correct answer we have. We'll go by the next question. Question number 52. Now match the list 1 with list 2. In list 1 we have novels, and list 2 we have novelist. Okay, now see this option number D, The Catcher in the Rye. Again, very famous work. Okay, now I'll tell you very famous story of reading this novel. Okay, now there was a movie, okay, re-released movie, Sanam Teri Kasam. Okay, and in that movie we have a hero. Okay, and he was released from jail after 6-7 years. Okay, and he turned to some library in that movie, and he has asked that question to the heroine of that movie, that which book one should read after releasing from jail, okay, to have some hope in his life. Okay, so this The Catcher in the Rye book was suggested to that hero by the heroine. It is a very famous novel written by J.D. Salinger. Okay, so this D will go by J.D. Salinger. Now see this option number C, Bright Shade Revisited. Again, very famous work written by Evelyn Waugh. Okay, part of 100 best modern novels. Okay, so C with Evelyn Waugh and D with Catcher in the Rye. Okay, so the correct answer that we have is second. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Question number 53. Now, which of the following works of R.K. Narayan were published after independence, after 1947? Published work that we have to get. So, we'll go by chronology here. Okay. So, first book written by R.K. Narayan. Okay. Swami and Friends. Swami and Friends. In which year? 1935. The first book written by R.K. Narayan is what? Maritime Law in 17th century England. But this one is first book. Now second work, Bachelor of Arts. Bachelor of Arts. Okay. 1937. Story of Chandran. Third work, Dark Room. Dark Room in which year? 1938. 1938, Story of Mr. Sampath. Then, again very famous, The English Teacher. Okay, The English Teacher came 1945. Okay. Now we'll see some other works. I'll take another page. After English Teacher, Mr. Sampath came. Mr. Sampath. Mr. Sampath came in 1948. Now see this year of publication. After Mr. Sampath, The Financial Expert. The Financial Expert. 1952. After Financial Expert, we have Waiting for the Mahatma. Waiting for the Mahatma. 1955. And we have The Guide. Again very famous, written in 1958, and it has received 1960 Sahitya Academy Award. Very famous movie was made where Devanand has played major role in this movie of Raju Guide with the same title of this novel. Now see this Mr. Sampath after independence, Financial Expert after independence, Waiting for the Mahatma after independence, and The Guide after independence. So we have 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 works, okay, published after independence. Now we'll go by the question, that question again. Now Dark Room is not there. Okay, English Teacher is not there. Swami and Friends is not there. So we have correct answer, The Financial Expert and The Guide. Okay, because The Financial Expert came in 1952 and The Guide came in 1958. Okay, so the correct answer we have is CNE. Okay, this option number 3. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Question number 54. Now arrange the following in chronological order of their year of publication. Okay, so we have to arrange it chronologically. Okay, A. Nation and Narration. Again very famous work, written by whom? Homi Bhabha. Homi Bhabha. In which year it came? It came in 1990. 1990. Okay. Now the second option, The Dialogic Imagination, it came in 1981. 1981. Written by whom? Bhakti. Bhakti. Now see this option number C, Anthropology and Colonial Encounter. Okay, it is written by whom? By Talal Asad in 1973. It is by Talal Asad. 1973. 1973. Option number D, Discourse on Colonialism. It is by, again very famous, by Amy Caesar. By Amy Caesar. Okay. In which year it came? In 1950 it came. 1950. Okay. Now, see this one. Option number E, Orientalism. Again, very famous work written by Edward Said. It is there in PG syllabus in many universities. Which year it came? In 1978. 1978. Now see these options. All options are wrong. Okay. So the correct answer sequence we have is D, C, then E, and B, and then A. Okay. So this question was dropped. Okay. And marks given to all. But if this question is there in future, so the correct sequence we have is D, C, E, B, and A. Okay. We'll go by the next question. Question number 55. The line, "Thou still unravished bride of quietness," represents which of the following theoretical figures? Okay. First, anastrophe. So what is anastrophe? Okay. Anastrophe. So anastrophe is basically when you change natural order of that sentence and you write the way you want it to. That is what anastrophe is all about. Just either to rhyme, okay, or just to change. I'll give you an example of it. I'll first write in normal order, then how to write in anastrophic way. So, one swallow does not make a summer. Now this is natural order. Now how to write in an anastrophic way? One swallow does not a summer make. One swallow does not a summer make. Okay. So this is how you have to write in an anastrophic way. So you can see the difference here. We'll go by the next option. Now we have seen what is anastrophe. We'll go by what is apostrophe. So apostrophe is basically a literary device where you are addressing someone or something that is not present at that moment. Okay. Just like this poem that given we have on a Grecian urn. Thou still unravished bride of quietness. Okay. Talking about someone who's not present. Okay. So she is someone who's silent. So this is what an example of apostrophe. Okay. Just like Keats has written a very famous poem, Ode to a Nightingale. Okay. But that when author was talking about nightingale, that nightingale was not there. Okay. He has seen it years and years ago. Okay. Okay. But when author was writing that poem, that bird was missing. So that is what apostrophe is all about. Okay. Just like Wordsworth has written Solitary Reaper. Daffodils. Okay. So this was the poem written in apostrophic by using apostrophe. Okay, we'll go by next option. Now see this third option we have is anaphora. Option number 3, anaphora. Okay, so now what is that anaphora? Anaphora is basically a repetition of words or phrases, but in a group of sentences, clauses, or poetic lines. So repetition is there. Okay, but where repetition of words, phrases in group of sentences. Okay, clauses or poetic lines. Poetic lines. Okay, now see this chiasmus. Okay, so what is this? How to pronounce it first? Kig as mus. Okay, this is the right pronunciation of this word. Chiasmus is basically a device where words, grammatical constructions, or concepts are repeated in reverse order. So repetition is there, that we have seen in anaphora, but here repetition in reverse order. So here repeated but in reverse order. Okay, I'll give you an example of it, just like kids. Okay, kids has written ode on a Grecian on. Okay, in it we have a very famous example of chiasmus is there. You all have seen it, like beauty is truth. Okay, and truth beauty. So that is what repetition is there, but in reverse order. Beauty, truth. Okay, just like all for one, one for all. Okay, one should eat to live, not live to eat. Okay, so these are the example of chiasmus. Okay, we will go by that question again. So now see this question. The line, thou still unravished bride of quietness, present which of the following theoretical figures? Okay, so it is apostrophe. Why it is so? Because whom this poet is addressing this line was not there. The object that he admires cannot literally speak here. Okay, and this line is there from Ode on a Grecian Urn by Keats. Ode on a Grecian Urn by whom? By Keats. In which year it came? 1819. Okay, and here poet talks about unravished, means virgin bride. Okay, she has not been touched. Okay, her silence has yet to be broken. That is what author wants to reveal here. So we have seen correct option. Correct answer is this one, apostrophe. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Question number 56. Now, which of the following is not an autobiography? Okay, now what is autobiography? When author, he or she, has written about himself or herself, that is what autobiography. And what is biography? Just like Samuel Johnson has written about some other writers, so that is what biography. कि जब राइटर अपने बारे में नहीं किसी और के बारे में लिखता है, दैट इज़ व्हाट बायोग्राफी. जब खुद के बारे में लिखे, ऑटोबायोग्राफी. Now see this option that we have. First, Patrick White, A Life. So this Patrick White, A Life, okay, is all about life of Patrick White. So this Patrick White is a Nobel Prize winner award. Okay, he was given Nobel Prize in Literature. Okay, but this work, Patrick White, A Life, is not written by himself. So it is written by whom? It is written by David Marr. In which year? In 1991. Okay, so it's not about David Marr's life. So it is about Patrick White's life. So it is biography, not autobiography. Okay, now see, we'll go by some other options. Option number 2, Long Walk to Freedom. So this work, Long Walk to Freedom, it's an autobiography of Nelson Mandela. I'll write here Nelson Mandela. Okay, and who's he? He's a South African. Okay, and he's South Africa's first democratically elected president. Okay, and when it came in 1994. Long Walk to Freedom. And this book is all about his early life, his coming of an age, okay, his education that he has, and 27 years, okay, that he has spent in prison under the apartheid government, okay, and how he was regarded as a terrorist, and how he was jailed, and how he came, okay, and how he became very famous leader. Okay, so it's all about his life written by him. It is an autobiography. Now see this option number 3. My Experiments with Truth. We all know it is all about life of Mahatma Gandhi, okay, written by himself. So it is again an autobiography, okay, from his childhood to 1921. Okay, right here, childhood to 1921. Okay, and it is originally written in Gujarati language as a Satyana Prayogo. Okay, and first it was serially published, okay, then it was published in a book form. Okay, so this is again autobiography. Now see this option number 4, Akarmashi, the Outcast. Okay, so this Akarmashi, an outcast, is right here 1991. Okay, again it's an autobiography. Okay, who has written it? Sharan Kumar Limbale. Sharan Kumar Limbale. Okay, it's A. Limbale is a Marathi autobiographical novel by Marathi author Sharan Kumar Limbale. Okay, and protagonist of this novel we have is Shiv Kumar. Okay, and this author has talked about Mahar community in this work, that how they were considered to be untouchable, and how the whole society is against this community, and how this protagonist has suffered. So it's all about his own life. So again an autobiography. So here option number 1 is the correct one. We have Patrick White, A Life, is a biography written by David Marr about Patrick White. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Question number 57. Identify the statements which are correct. Okay, A. The term Henor is associated with the poetry of Baudelaire. So yes, this term Henor is associated with Baudelaire's collection. Okay, collection, the Flowers of Evil. Okay, Now what is this Henor is all about? So it refers to an individual, okay, who's traveling, okay, freely in some urban spaces, okay, and he's observing the things, but that situation is not happening with him or her, or okay, so he's avoiding that direct engagement with that incident. He's seeing it, okay, and then he's writing that, okay, so whatever is happening he's just seeing through his own perspective, and he's writing that thing. That is what Henor is all about. And major theme of this kind of work is all like modernity, alienation, and urban life. Okay, we'll go by option number B. The term habitus is associated with Peribodieu. So now again Peribodieu, okay, he is associated with this habitus. Now this term habitus is developed by Peribodieu, okay, and it talks about deposition, attitudes, values that shape a human life of an individual, okay, just like we all are associated with some social structure, okay, family, okay, class, economy, okay, so there will be some outcome of it, all these things: social structure, family, class, you can include school, college. So whatever you uh, see here, there has some kind of impact on your perspective, how you see this world, okay, जैसे जैसे आप माहौल में रहते हो, जैसे आपकी फाइनेंशियल कंडीशन है, जैसे आपकी फैमिली की कंडीशन है, जैसे जैसे इकोनॉमिकल कंडीशन है आपकी, ओके, वो सारी चीज़ें क्या करती है, इट विल शेप योर बिहेवियर, योर पर्सपेक्टिव टू सी द वर्ल्ड, okay, the way how you behave in future with some other person. So that is what habitus is all about. So either whatever perception you have about world, okay, whatever action you take, okay, or whatever attitude that you have, okay, in later years of your life, that will be totally depends on this structure, okay, so that is what habitus is all about, okay, so that what Peribodieu has said, okay, we'll go by that option, okay, so this second we have seen. Now we go by this option number C. Now Michel Foucault is associated with the concept of modernity and unfinished project, okay, so this one is wrong one here, because modernity and unfinished project, this Jürgen Habermas is associated with this modernity and unfinished project concept. So option number C is wrong, okay, A and B we have correct options. Now we'll see this D. Now Frantz Fanon is associated with the term imagined community, okay, again wrong one, because imagined community, who was associated with it, again very famous, so Benedict Anderson is associated with this imagined community, and he has written a work, okay, in 1983, imagine community, okay, to analyze nationalism. Okay, so this is again wrong. Now we see this option number E. The term thick description is associated with Clifford myths. So it is not by Clifford myths, but it is by whom? It is by Clifford. So it is by Clifford Geertz. Geertz. Okay, so here E option is again wrong one. We have A and B as a correct answer. Okay, we'll go by the next question. So of that question we have A and B as only the correct answers that we have. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Question number 58. Now what does deductive method of reasoning refer to? Okay, so what is this deductive method of reasoning? So deductive method is provable, okay, by deriving some conclusion by reasoning. That is what deductive method of reasoning is all about. And it we have from general to particular. Why? Because it draws conclusion from set of प्रीमाइसेस कि आपको दो प्रीमाइसेस जितने भी हो प्रीमाइसेस दिए गए हैं और उसके ऊपर से यू विल गेट टू द कंक्लूजन ऑफ इट. लाइक कोई नियम आपको दिया गया है, ओके, और उस आफ्टर नोइंग दैट रूल्स यू टर्न टू द एग्जाम्पल्स. फ्रॉम रूल्स आपको रूल्स दिए गए हैं एंड आपको एग्जाम्पल की ओर ले जाता है. दैट इज़ व्हाट deductive method of reasoning is all about. Okay, so here one is correct answer. We'll go by the next question. Question number 59. Now which of the given statements are correct? Okay, A. Om Prakash Valmiki's Jyotan is a novel. Is it a novel? No. Then what is it? It is an autobiography. Okay, now see this option number B. Jyotan represents the Dalit Valmiki community in critical light. So yes, it talks about Dalit community. Option number C. Jyotan enumerates the difficulties of being a Dalit in independent India. So yes. Now see this option number D. Jyotan was translated into English by Arun Prabha Das. So we know that Jyotan was translated by someone, okay, but it is not by Arun Prabha Das. It is by whom? Das is not there. It is by Arun Prabha Mukherjee. Okay, so again this one is wrong. Now see this option number E. Jyotan critique the upper castes. So yes, it critique the upper caste. Why it is so? Because the way they are behaving with this Dalit community boy. Just like we have an image that headmaster of that school was telling that boy, okay, just to sweep the whole school. Now he is a boy, a very young boy like the other students. Okay, why he has said this kind of things to a young boy? Only because he belongs to that Dalit community. Just like it is there in autobiography of B.R. Ambedkar, the waiting for the visa, that how he was not allowed to sit with the other students, how he cannot touch that pot, okay, how he was being not allowed to reveal his caste, okay, where when he turns to some other country he was very happy. Why? Because there no one talks about his caste. He can live where he wanted to. Okay, Now see this title, Juthan. What is Juthan? Juthan is basically refers to the scraps of food that is left after the meal and believed to destined for garbage or for animals. It is not allowed to eat with, just like this student, okay, that we have in this autobiography, is not allowed to sit with other students. Why it is so? Because he was considered to be the Juthan. Okay, so the correct answer we have is B, C and E. Okay, option number 3 we have the correct one, B, C, E, correct answer. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Question number 60. Identify the ones which are matched correctly. Okay, so we have to get the correct matched things. Okay, now see this, Barbara Christian, The Race for Theory. So yes, Barbara Christian, okay, very famous feminist writer, she has written about The Race for Theory. Now see this, Alfred Crosby, okay, Unhiding the Hidden, wrong. Paul Kartner, Naming Place, again correct one. See this D, Graham Hagen, Ecological Imperialism, so this wrong. E, Thomas B. Macaulay, again right one, is Minutes on Indian Education. Macaulay is very famous for his Minutes on Indian Education System. In it he has said a very controversial statements that he has given, like we produce a caste, okay, that in taste they are Britishers but in color they are Indian. And this Minutes on Indian Education System, it came in which? It came in 2nd Feb 1835. It is very important work for your paper 1 also. And in this work he has talked about the importance of English education to Indian people. Okay, so the correct answer that we have is ACNE. ACNE, this option number 2. Okay, we'll go by the next question here. Question number 61. Arrange the plays of William Shakespeare in the chronological order of their year of publication. Okay, so when I've seen this question, I know that Tempest is the last work written by Shakespeare. So see these options where Tempest was shown as a last. So here, Tempest, last one, B, E, D, C, A. Okay, so this is the correct answer. You have to recall it, like first work written by Shakespeare is King Henry IV, it came, part 1 of it, part 2 of it, part 3 of it, and last work is Tempest. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Question number 62. Now which of the statements given below are true? A, the Center for Contemporary Cultural Studies was established in Berkeley 1960. So we know that Center for Contemporary Cultural Study was established in Birmingham. Where? It is there in Birmingham. Pehli bar when you start reading this cultural studies, you have this thing. Where? University of Birmingham, okay, in England. In which year it came? 1964. By whom? By Stuart Hall and Richard Hogarth. Okay, so this is wrong. Now see this option B. Now Jürgen Habermas traces the rise of public sphere to the rise of print culture. So yes, this is the correct option we have. Now see this option number C. Paul Gilroy introduced the concept of black Atlantic. Paul Gilroy, okay, so yes, Paul Gilroy has introduced the concept of black Atlantic, and he has written a work called the Black Atlantic, okay, the Black Atlantic, Modernity and Double Consciousness. Modernity and Double Consciousness, 1993. Okay, and this is basically a history book, okay, about black Atlantic culture. It is a type of art and design that is experimented or a very innovative one, okay, and often ahead of its. Okay, so what we have seen, Paul Gilroy introduced the concept of black Atlantic by writing a book, The Black Atlantic, Modernity and Double Consciousness, in 1993. It is basically a history book, okay, about black Atlantic culture. Now we see this option number D. Adorno praises the alien nature of avant-garde modernist art such as the eternal music of Schoenberg. Okay, so this is again the correct one. Now see this option number E. Chutnification was a term used by Edward Soja. Okay, so we know that Edward Soja is a very famous for his theory of what? Theory of urban space, third space theory that Edward Soja has given. And this chutnification was famous by whom? Previously this was a question in set exam. This was a term coined by Salman Rushdie. Okay, and he has used it, भर भर के यूज़ किया है उसने. कौन सी बुक में? The Midnight's Children, 1981 book. Okay, best of, it was a Booker Awardee, Booker Awardee and best of Booker Awardee book. Okay, it talks about what? It talks about Indian elements in English language or culture, दोनों मिक्स करके कैसे, how you represent, that is what. Okay, so the correct answers that we have is, okay, so C, D and E correct we have. Okay, this is the correct one according to your answer key. But originally what is the correct one? B, C and D. B, C and D. That is what originally what correct is, because we have seen only the provisional answer key. The final answer key will be said like B, C and D is the correct answer. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Question number 63. Success is counted sweetest by those who never succeed. To comprehend a nectar require a sorest need. Now who has composed the above lines? So we know that it is composed by Emily Dickinson. Okay, now we know that he has written a work called Success is Counted Sweetest. Okay, so in this work what she said, that success is most valued and best appreciated by whom? Those who have it by only taking chance for once. Okay, or someone who has desperately wanted, okay, but does not have it. Okay, so that is the question. Now this is 1859 this poem was written, okay, and published in 1864. this was published. This is very famous poem written by Emily Dickinson. Just like what she has explained, if you are not thirsty, okay, if you do not have that thirst, and someone offers you a water, okay, so that water will be not valuable for you, okay. But if someone who actually has that thirst inside, so that person will value that water mostly. वो क्या कहती है कि सक्सेस का असली मतलब वही इंसान समझ सकता है जिसने उसके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा मेहनत की हो, बट उसे सक्सेस नहीं मिली, ओके. एंड व्हाट ही सेड दैट टू कॉम्प्रीहेंड एन एक्टर रिक्वायर्स अ सॉरेस्ट नीड. इफ़ यू के अगर हमें अमृत के टेस्ट को समझना है, सो वी हैव टू पहले बहुत सारे हमें क्या करना होगा, कड़वे घोट हमें पीने होंगे. देन ओनली वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड द वैल्यू ऑफ दिस थिंग्स. सेम विद द सक्सेस, ओके, कि हमें बार बार फेल होना होगा, हमें संघर्ष करना होगा. देन ओनली वी कैन वैल्यू सक्सेस अकॉर्डिंग टू एमिली डिकिंसन, एंड दैट इज़ द करेक्ट वन. कि आप अगर इवन सपोज आप किसी एग्ज़ाम के लिए तैयारी कर रहे हो, ओके, एंड आपने 2 महीने तैयारी की एंड यू गेट इट व्हाट यू वांट, ओके. सो क्या आपको उसकी वैल्यू ज़्यादा होगी या उस इंसान को जो 1 साल से तैयारी कर रहा है बट पॉइंट से रह गया, 2-3 मार्क्स से रह गया और उसे फिर से तैयारी करनी पड़ी, ओके. सो सक्सेस की वैल्यू वो इंसान ज़्यादा समझेगा कि जिसने इतनी अच्छी तैयारी करने के बाद भी कुछ मार्क्स की वजह से रह गया. दैट सक्सेस विल बी मोर स्वीटेस्ट टू दैट पर्सन ओनली, ओके. सक्सेस उस इंसान के लिए ज़्यादा वैल्यूएबल होती है जिसको वो सक्सेस नहीं मिली होती है, ओके. बट ही वॉज और शी वॉज वेरी डेस्परेट अबाउट टू हैव दैट सक्सेस, पर किसी कारण से उसको नहीं मिली तो उनको उसकी ज़्यादा वैल्यू होगी, ओके. सो हियर करेक्ट आंसर इज एमिली डिकिंसन. नाउ विल गो बाय द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Now we'll see this question number 64. Arrange the following steps of decision making in research process. So research process में decision making के steps कौन से होते हैं, that we'll see. So सबसे पहले what we'll do, so first हम क्या करते हैं, choice of research topic और theme, ये सबसे पहले हम करेंगे, okay. Then उसके बाद हम क्या करेंगे, क्या हम डायरेक्टली डेटा को कलेक्ट करेंगे, कैसे कलेक्ट करेंगे, ओके. जब हमने कुछ रिसर्च, हमें प्रॉब्लम भी तो बनानी होगी. वी हैव टू मेक सम हाइपोथेसिस कि जिसके ऊपर हमें रिसर्च करनी है, ओके, जिसको इधर विल बी एबल टू प्रूफ इट राइट और रॉन्ग. सो आफ्टर चॉइस ऑफ रिसर्च टॉपिक और थीम हम क्या करेंगे, हम फॉर्म्यूलेट करेंगे किसको, रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम को, ओके. दिस वन पहले हमने क्या किया, चॉइस कर लिया टॉपिक, फिर हमने क्या किया, उसके बाद हमने फॉर्मेटिंग द रिसर्च प्रॉब्लम, ओके. उसके बाद हमने क्या किया, सो हमने उसके बाद कॉन्सेप्चुलाइजेशन एंड ऑपरेशनलाइजेशन, कि हमने कॉन्सेप्ट का कुछ कर दिया कि हमें कौन सा कॉन्सेप्ट लेना है एंड ऑल दैट. उसके बाद ADE. देन उसके बाद हम क्या करेंगे, जब हमारा हाइपोथेसिस भी रेडी है, जब हमने कॉन्सेप्ट भी सिलेक्ट कर लिया, ओके, फिर हम क्या करेंगे, हम डेटा को कलेक्ट करेंगे, ओके. हम डेटा को कलेक्ट करेंगे उसके बाद, क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम हमारी रेडी है, क्या हमें प्लान हमारा रेडी है. उसके बाद हम डेटा कलेक्ट करेंगे एंड आफ्टर कलेक्टिंग दैट डेटा हम क्या करेंगे, एनालिसिस एंड इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ दैट डेटा. जो भी डेटा हमने इकट्ठा किया है हम उसको क्या करेंगे, उसको एनालाइज करेंगे और उसको इंटरप्रेट करने की कोशिश करेंगे, ओके. सो ADE देन BNC, ओके. सो दिस वन इज द करेक्ट आंसर. So this one ADE BC 4. This one is the correct answer. Okay. We'll go by the next question. Now see this question number 65. Chronologically arrange the following works according to the year of publication. Okay. So now see this question. Gauri Vishwanathan. So marks of conquest. It came in which year? It came in 1989. 1989. Now see this Meenakshi Mukherjee's The Twice Born Fiction. So it came in 1971. This one it came in 1971. Now G.N. Davis After Amnesia. So it came in 1992. This one it came in 1992. And M.K. Nayak A History of Indian English Literature. Again very famous work for UG and PG student. It came in which year? 1982 it came. Okay. And Harish Trivedi's Colonial Transactions. It came in 1995. 1995. So इस ऑप्शन में इन दिस पेपर क्या है, एक ऑप्शन जो है वो बहुत नोन है. सो अगर आपको उसका आंसर पता है यू कैन गेट द करेक्ट वन. ओके. सो द करेक्ट आंसर वी हैव इज B D A C N E. B D A C E. So this one 4 correct answer we have. We'll go by the next question. Now see this question number 66. Match the list 1 with list 2. In list 1 we have poets and in list 2 we have poems. Okay. So again एक option easy है. See this Edward Spencer. We know it is there in PG program. So Edward Spencer famous for his The Fairy Queen. Okay. It is basically an English epic. It is there in 6 books. Okay. So Edward Spencer will go by this The Fairy Queen. Now see this Philip Sidney. Again very easy. Philip Sidney is there in Defense of Poesy. Okay, so he has written this work, Defense of Poesy. It is there in PG again. Now Thomas Yet. So Thomas W. Yet, whose least to hint? This one first. And Henry Howard, the Earl of Surrey. Okay, so he is written this one. So cruel prison how could betide. So cruel prison how could betide. This one is by Henry Howard, the Earl of Surrey. Okay. So this one option number 2 the correct answer we have. Okay. We'll go by the next question. Question number 67. The first folio of Shakespeare's play appeared in. Again one of the most favorite topic of this net and set paper setter. Okay. It's there in 1623. ये फ्री का मार्क्स वाला क्वेश्चन है. Now what is this folio? I've explained it earlier also. उस ज़माने में क्या होता था, पेजेस पर वेरी लेंदी. तो क्या होता था कि जो वर्क दैट ऑथर हैज़ रिटन एक पेज का एक साइड प्रिंट कर दिया, दूसरे पेज का दूसरे साइड प्रिंट कर दिया. पेजेस बहुत लंबे होते थे. सो इट्स लाइक यू टेक वन पेज. ओके. एंड व्हाट यू आर डूइंग, you are dividing it into 2, 1 and 2. So 2 pages that you have from the front side and 2 pages that you have from the back side. That is what folio is all about. Now we know that Shakespeare is also associated with this quarto. Now what is this quarto? When you divide pages into 4 part, up fold, you just this one, when I am dividing it into 2 portions, what I am doing it here, I am folding it. एक पेज है, I am folding it और उसको 2 बना रहा हूँ. ओके. दैट इज़ व्हाट फोलियो. व्हेन आई एम डिवाइडिंग इट इनटू 4 पार्ट्स. 4 मैं उसको फोल्ड कर रही हूँ कि उसके 4 पेजेस बने. 4 फ्रॉम द फ्रंट साइड. ओके. एंड 4 फ्रॉम द बैक साइड. दैट इज़ व्हाट क्वार्टो इज़ ऑल अबाउट. ओके. इन अर्ली सेंचुरी पेजेस पर वेरी लेंदी, सो दे डू दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. ओके. So this one folio, when sheet fold once and get 4 pages. Folio when sheet fold it twice and get 8 pages. Okay. 4 from the front side and 4 from the back side. That is what quarto. Okay. We'll go by the next question. Question number 68. Now see this question. Which of the following novels deal with the theme of apartheid? Now what is this apartheid? So apartheid basically talks about कलर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, रंग भेद के बारे में. Okay, so in which novel you have this apartheid as a theme. Now see this one, purple hibiscus. Purple hibiscus. So in this work, purple hibiscus is written by Adichie, Chimnanda Ngozi Adichie. Okay, it is his first novel. Okay, now it talks about religious hypocrisy. Okay, to a Kambili, a young Nigerian. So in this work, apartheid theme was not there because it about religion thing. Okay, now see this B, Julie's people. Okay, Julie's people. So Julie's name of servant. Okay, it is again it is a work written by Godimer. Okay, and it talks about racial and class revolution. So yes, this work talks about apartheid. Now see this, Cry the Beloved Country. So it is written by whom? It is written by Ellen okay, it is all about social protest against apartheid. Okay, so in this work again apartheid was there. Now see this, The Mimic Man. It talks about colonial men's experience in post-colonial world. Okay, so it does not talk about this apartheid kind of thing, and this is a work written by V.S. Naipaul in 1967. Okay, so it does not have this apartheid as a theme. Now see this E, My Son's Story. Again work written by Nadine Godimer, and it's basically he has discussed about post-colonial world. Okay, in 1990 it came, and it has this apartheid as a theme. Okay, so the correct answer that we have is B. It is there in C. It is there in E also. B, C and E. Correct answer we have this one. 3 as a answer. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Question number 69. Now who amongst the following was not a member of Bloomsbury group? So Bloomsbury is basically a place where they all met. Okay, so Bloomsbury group, now not we have to get who is not part of that group. So we know that Virginia Woolf was part of this group. Foster has later joined it. Strachey was there, but Yeats was not there. Okay, so this one is the correct answer. We have that Yeats was not part of this Bloomsbury group because others are member of it, like Clive Bell was there. Okay, Clive Bell was there, Leonard Woolf was there, Virginia Woolf's husband. Okay, Strachey was there. Okay, Sidney Turner was there. Okay, Vanessa Bell was there, and E.M. Foster has joined it later in 1910. John Maynard was there. Okay, Roger Fry has also joined it later. Okay, it's basically a circle of writers, artists, intellectual. Okay, in first half of the 20th century. Okay, so the correct answer we have is W.B. Yeats. He is not part of this group. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Now see this question number 70. Match the list 1 with list 2. List 1 we have author and list 2 we have text. Okay, so Manohar Malgaonkar, so he has written which work? Rumble Tumble and other stories, Manohar Malgaonkar. Now this Chaman Nahal, so the Weird Dance and other stories, this one. Ruskin Bond, we all know one is easy one. Neighbor's Wife and other stories written by Ruskin Bond. Arun Joshi, So the survivor, this one. Okay, so the correct answer we have is like A will go by this one. A will go by 3, B will be with first. Here some option problem is there, so we'll get it like the way I said. Manohar Malgaonkar, Rumble Tumble, Chaman Nahal, The Weird Dance and Other Stories, Ruskin Bond, Neighbor's Wife and Other Stories, and Arun Joshi, The Survivor. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Okay, so we have question number 71. Now, which of the following is not a character in William Congreve's The Way of the World? Okay, so now see this option. Fennel. So yes, Fennel's character is there. Okay, antagonist. Now see this Mirabelle. So Mirabelle is there. Okay, he is a protagonist of the play. Now see this Waitwell. Again, Waitwell is servant of this one, Mirabelle. So this character is also there. Now see this Peachum. So Peachum is not character. Okay. Some other characters are also there, because in from this work, The Way of the World, questions were repeatedly there about character only. Just like character of Marwood was there, character of Mrs. Arabella was there, Fennel was there, Lady Wishart was there, Millamant was there, Foible is there, Waitwell is there, and some other important characters are also there. Okay, so in set exam also this year in 2024, question from The Way of the World was there. Okay, about characters. Okay, so this Way of the World is very important. Okay, to recall all characters that are part of this work. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Now see this question number 72. From which poem are the following line extracted? Once more the storm is howling, and half hid under this cradle hood and coverlid my child sleeps on. There is no obstacle but Gregory's wood and one bare heel. Okay, so what here this author is talking about. So when W.B. Yeats, okay, her daughter, his daughter has born, so he has written this work 2 days after her birth. Okay, and he has dedicated this work to newly born child. Okay, what he says that एक बार फिर से बाहर तूफान है. Okay, and my child is very young and she's there in cradle. Okay, half covered. Okay, and there is a storm outside. Okay, and that cradle is her protection. Okay, and only to stop this storm outside, okay, he has two hope. First, what he said, Gregory's wood and one bare heel. Gregory, lady whom he adores. Okay, and heel. Okay, so in this work, atmosphere of World War is there. Okay, okay, and he's saying like no one is able to stop this World War except then one thing and one person, Gregory, Lady Gregory, and that heel. Okay, who's stopping that storm. Okay, because his newly born child, okay, she is sleeping in that cradle and she is very innocent one. Okay, so now see this lines were extracted from which work? So prayer for my daughter. And mostly इस वर्क में what he has said, वो प्रे करता है कि उसको उसकी बेटी में कौन सी क्वालिटीज़ चाहिए और कौन सी क्वालिटीज़ नहीं चाहिए. ओके। वो कहता है कि उसको उसकी बेटी शी डज़ नॉट वांट इट लाइक कि बहुत ब्यूटीफुल हो, कि वो अपनी ब्यूटी को ही निहारती रहे, एंड शी डज़ नॉट पे अटेंशन टू द इंटेलिजेंस। ओके। बहुत सारी प्रेयर्स जो है वो करता है गॉड से अपनी न्यूली बॉर्न चाइल्ड के लिए। कौन सी क्वालिटीज़ उसमें होनी चाहिए, कौन सी क्वालिटीज़ नहीं होनी चाहिए, ओके, उसका नेचर कैसा होना चाहिए, वो कैसे बिहेव करनी चाहिए, एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स दैट he has discussed in this poem. And name of her daughter is N, because ये भी वो पूछ सकते हैं। ओके, we'll go by the next question. Question number 73. The author of the Politics of Translation and translator of Mahashweta Devi's Standaini is. Okay, so we have to guess who has translated the Politics of Translation and Standaini. Okay, so the correct answer that we have is Spivak, Gayatri Spivak, Gayatri Chakraborty Spivak. Okay, so this one is the correct answer. Jhumpa Lahiri, we know that she is very famous for her work Interpreter of Melodies. Okay, and she has also written Namesake novel, that very famous, okay, for some post colonial elements that she has used. Homi Bhabha, okay, so he is famous for hybridity, mimicry. Okay, and Spivak again, she is also famous for what? Can the subaltern speak? Now see this, Tejaswini Niranjana. Tejaswini Niranjana, so she has written Politics of, so she has written what? Politics of Translation and Cultural Theory, but she has talked about rethinking role of translator, okay, and their responsibility to the text they translate. And she has also written Sitting Translation in 1992. Okay, and this one Standaini is basically a short story. Okay, we'll go by the next question here. Now see this question number 74. Match the list 1 with list 2. List 1 we have text, and list 2 we have authors. Now see this again very easy question. Autobiography of an Unknown Indian. We all know that it is written by Neeraj C. Chaudhary. Here option number this one D. This is the correct one, because frequently this question was there in exam. Even parts of this work Autobiography and Unknown Indian was also there. Okay, so the correct answer A will go by 4, B will go by first, okay, this C will go by second, okay, and D will go by 3. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Question number 75. From the statements given below, what is true about Gothic novel? Gothic novel के बारे में कौन सी चीज़ें सही? Now see this option. We'll see this option. Option A, it appeared in 14th century American literature. No. B, it often uses medieval form of architecture as setting. So yes, क्योंकि गॉथिक फिक्शन में पुराने खंडर, महल, ओके, ऐसी चीज़ें, ऐसा ही आर्किटेक्चर यूज्ड होता है. सो बी इज़ करेक्ट. नाउ सी दिस सी, इट इज़ अ फॉर्म ऑफ बारोक्यू आर्ट. बारोक्यू आर्ट इज़ अ हाईली ऑर्नेट आर्ट. ओके, जैसे कि एपिक हो गया. सो हाईली ऑर्नेट तो ये नहीं होता. ओके, सी दिस डी, it represents a style of mosaic, fresco and wall painting. So style of mosaic क्या होता है? Mosaic it basically stone का, glass का, okay, जो बना हो, that is what mosaic. जैसे कि हम प्लास्टर करते हैं, ओके, सो उसमें अगर हम स्टोन डाल दें, ग्लास डाल दें और फिर करें, that is what mosaic. फ्रेस्को वॉल जैसे कि छत के ऊपर लगाते हैं. ओके, दैट इज़ व्हाट मोज़ेक. टूटी हुई टाइल्स. ओके, टूटी हुई टाइल्स का वास, टूटे हुए कांच का कुछ बने, दैट इज़ व्हाट मोज़ेक. नाउ व्हाट इज़ दिस फ्रेस्को वॉल पेंटिंग? तो उसके अंदर क्या होता है, व्हेन अ पेंटिंग डायरेक्टली अगर प्लास्टर वेट हो एंड उस पर पेंटिंग बनाई जाए, दैट इज़ व्हाट फ्रेस्को वॉल पेंटिंग इज़ ऑल अबाउट. ओके, जिसमें कोई ऑब्जेक्ट ऐड ना हो. ओके, दैट इज़ व्हाट fresco wall painting is all about. So the correct answer that we have is B and E only. B or E ही correct है. Okay, so B, it often uses medieval form of architecture, and E, it aims at evoking the chilling terror by exploiting the mystery and variety of horror. Okay, there's one E. Okay, we'll go by the next question. Okay, so today we have seen only this 25 question. We will see it in next video lecture. Okay, so thank you for watching, because it's already a very lengthy one.